Speaking in poll-bound Madhya Pradesh, the Prime Minister has lashed out at attempts of opposition unity, calling it a photograph that displays united corruption. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. Our special focus today is on the BJP versus a united opposition. What might that picture look like in 2024 elections? Make no mistake, election season is well and truly here. Speaking in election bound Madhya Pradesh, which is scheduled for assembly elections later this year, the Prime Minister, in fact, lashed out at the attempts at opposition unity. You're seeing the images of that big opposition meet in Patna. He actually said that the one thing that tied these leaders together, apart from their desire to defeat Narendra Modi, is in fact charges of corruption. But what does the data tell us? If we are to break down the numbers, how do we understand the politics of the time? And is Mamta Banerjee's reported proposed formula possible? Which is that she wants that at least in a 450 seats, there should be only a one-on-one contest with the BJP. In other words, one party or one formation taking on the BJP. Is that even possible? We will put these questions today to our newsmaker on the program, psephologist, political analyst, the man who leads See Voter, and his data often illuminates the politics of our time. Let's welcome Yashwant Deshmukh now to this special broadcast. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this program and you have questions and comments coming. But let me start, Yashwant, by thanking you and asking you to step back and look at the big picture. Arithmetical political unity has been attempted before. It was attempted in fits and starts, even in the last election. It hasn't really worked for a variety of reasons. Math doesn't mean chemistry. The opposition hasn't been able to settle its leadership issue. And in many states, the opposition that is presenting a united front nationally is in competition with each other. But do you find anything a little more serious, a little more different about the opposition unity meet in Patna this time?
The thing that might be taken seriously, that at least they are trying. So far, there was no attempt, not even a remote attempt to do anything of this sort. So I guess that from that perspective, that much of credit can be given, that much of a head start can be given. But barring that, Barkha, as you mentioned, the chemistry and arithmetic, sometimes the chemistry is matching, arithmetic is not there, sometimes the arithmetic is doing the trick, but chemistry is not there. So all in all, when I look at all the number of faces over there, there is also the fact, Barkha, that big number of people, particularly the opposition chief ministers who are there, are also facing now significant anti-incumbency individually against them. So I find it difficult to understand that merely coming along together, formulating a common minimum program or something like that, if that is going to be good enough to pull up the show.
So let's actually look at a sort of data that is publicly now available for anyone to decode. But I think you will decode it better than anybody else. We know now that if we look at 2019, there were about 186 seats where the BJP and the Congress were in direct competition. We also know that because of the enormous popularity of Narendra Modi at that time, the Congress, in fact, did very badly when it was the Congress versus the BJP pitted directly against the other. The Congress is hoping this time might be different. They're hoping for recoveries after Karnataka in states like Madhya Pradesh, certainly, and Chhattisgarh. They're hoping to hold on. Rajasthan, of course, is an open question. The Congress is on the back foot there. My question to you is, what should the Congress be hopeful of? Direct contests or a kind of a more sort of a dependence, as it were, on regional parties?
I think Congress is slightly confused, Barkha. I think they are pretty much looking at the big picture that we need to be a national alternative to the BJP, and this is where the conflict is starting between the opposition rank and file, that okay, should the Congress completely give away the states where it is no more kind of a force that it used to be, or should it kind of consider a smaller, significant yet extremely shrinked role? When I say extremely shrinked role, for example, in Uttar Pradesh, Barkha, what was the Congress performance in Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections? Now, ideally speaking, Congress should be in the fold of Samajwadi Party alliance, and at all, if BSP joins in, that would have been the dream scenario for the opposition alliance. But Congress would probably start with saying that we want to contest 30-35 seats. While the fact is, Congress is not even in a position to contest 5 seats in Uttar Pradesh right now. In fact, barring 2 seats, they do not have any presence anywhere left as such as far as the Lok Sabha elections are concerned or Vidhan Sabha elections are concerned. So, how low can Congress go in terms of adopting or in terms of realizing that this is what our real strength on the ground is for this opposition unity? That is the key question. Going by the noises that the Congress leaders are making post Karnataka, I don't think that they are really mentally prepared of sorts to take that less number of seats in different states. So this is going to be an issue. This is not going to be an easy thing to tackle from the Congress end.
Yeah. So let's take up Uttar Pradesh. You mentioned UP, and many commentators believe that UP is the litmus test, as it were, of this opposition unity formula. Now, this is, of course, an extraordinary wave election result that we're breaking up the vote share on. But if you look at it, the BJP and the Apna Dal have almost 52% of the vote share, and the others minus the BSP is almost 27%. But even if you add the BSP, and there's no chance, I think, of that happening, but for an academic exercise, let's add it. The BJP vote share still outnumbers the other, an absolutely united opposition. Now, of course, vote share doesn't equal seats in a parliamentary Westminster style democracy, but when you look at this division of the vote share from Uttar Pradesh in 2019, what are the two warnings? Warning for the BJP and warning for the opposition from these numbers?
First warning to the BJP that these numbers are pretty much the root cause of any complacency that might creep in.
So you're saying the BJP cannot be complacent about opposition unity?
No, they cannot be complacent not just about opposition unity, but their own 51% vote share. For a simple reason, Barkha, that BJP's performance in UP in 2014, then 2017, then 2019, and now 2022. 4 back-to-back election contests, the BJP has been sweeping UP like anything, but our data simply tells that their MPs and their MLAs are gathering such strong anti-incumbent sentiment because they are not working on the ground. एक बाढ़ में आ गए जीत के ना, when you win in a wave, then actually it is the representative who misunderstands the mandate completely. They feel that they can get away with it and they stop working. So for the BJP, the biggest warning is that because of huge number of non-performing MLAs and MPs, they can face a very strong anti-incumbency at the micro level. But if they can change big number of seats, which they can very well change, and and then it's a different thing. So one warning for the BJP. For the opposition warning, Barkha, the best kind of Mahagathbandhan in opposition that could have happened has happened in 2019. Sapa and Basapa, BSP and SP are the two biggest players in UP. Congress is a fringe player. Now, understand this, getting Congress in and letting BSP go, that is a huge loss game. I don't see Congress even at 1/4 of the BSP vote share in any formulation. So if the BSP's own kind of support base in the state is supposed roughly about, say, 20%, then Congress is not even at 5%. So if Samajwadi Party is thinking that, okay, getting the Congress in and getting the BSP out is something which is going to, compensate for the loss of the BSP, it is 1:4 in terms of strength on the ground and everything is concerned. This opposition unity would have made any impact if SP, Congress, RLD and BSP, all of 4 of them in Uttar Pradesh, they come along together with a literally one-on-one contest on each and every seat, then the bipolarity of that might have some kind of impact. But that too, we know the limitation because of the 50% plus vote share of the BJP. But still, there would be an impact, there would be some. But consider what are the odds of having that kind of a seamless alliance, Barkha. Already Mayawati has hit out at the opposition conclave in Patna. I don't think, and those who understand politics, they would also understand that Mayawati probably is playing the BJP's game by just playing solo, by just going solo. So,
But
so
yet
that
you
is
make
pretty
a
much the
very
BJP's game.
Yet you make a very important point that the BJP's MLAs cannot afford to be complacent. Karnataka has shown that performance does matter. And however popular the Prime Minister may be, he cannot override always the non-performance of his either legislators in the assembly or his parliamentarians in parliament. I want to play out Rahul Gandhi. This was before the Patna meet, but it was quite a realistic appraisal. He didn't make any grand claims of opposition unity. This is what he said when he was asked why is he not supporting Arvind Kejriwal on the issue of the centre's ordinance on the Delhi power distribution. Listen.
Back to politics. How united is the opposition in India, and why isn't Congress supporting Kejriwal in the ordinance on the ordinance issue?
Well, that's an internal discussion we are having. The opposition is pretty well united, and I think it's getting more and more united. We're having conversations with all the opposition, and I think quite a lot of good work is happening there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a complicated discussion because there are spaces where we are competing also with the opposition. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of give and take is required, but I'm confident that will happen.
So he acknowledges that it's complicated, and the complication has surfaced in the rupture between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, Yashwant. The Aam Aadmi Party has taken a position, by the way, supporting the Uniform Civil Code, thereby being the first party to, in a sense, break ideological ranks with other opposition parties who are flaying the move. Is the AAP Congress division an early signs of the kind of headaches, the kind of problems that can come with this opposition unity model?
I think AAP is a very unique phenomena in its own way. It doesn't really fall typically in the opposition rank and file, ideologically speaking, or from the concept of issue-based politics is concerned. For example, Arvind Kejriwal has taken many a times on triple talaq or on the common civil code, or for a matter 370, and which probably goes very well with the right of center support base, which he gains a lot during the assembly election in Delhi for that matter. So I don't think Arvind Kejriwal is pretty much in the same matrix that the opposition matrix is followed on. He would fall off probably even on the common minimum program, the things which the combined opposition parties are likely to pay. However, there is one thing which Arvind Kejriwal has Barkha coded rather well. And that is something which I believe that opposition parties are unable to code, or for that matter, Congress is unable to code. Arvind Kejriwal believes, and rightfully believes, that if they are the principal opposition of the BJP, then the Muslims will vote for him regardless of which position he takes on which particular issue. And that's probably why he dares to, on 370 or Uniform Civil Code and like that. While somehow in the Congress particularly and some other opposition parties as well, they feel that this ideological divide or political lining is so important that if they deviate on that line, they will lose the Muslim votes. Now, this is something which has kind of intrigued me a lot in terms of practical politics as well as ideological politics. Because the ideologically speaking, everybody says ki Kejriwal bependi ka lota hai, inka to koi samajh mein nahi aata, and like today he's here and on this spectrum where does he land, we don't know. But politically speaking, he has swept Delhi twice on this one. Politically speaking, he has actually won Punjab, which nobody thought of in that way. And Barkha, people do not talk much about the Gujarat election verdict. Kejriwal sure did not win anything in Gujarat, but the 12% vote damage that it inflicted on the Congress, that actually resulted in the historic mandate for the BJP over there. So,
Yeah.
all in all, the damage that he can do, not just in Gujarat, but probably in many other states if his numbers grow, is a very, very different thing. Yes, I understand, and I can clearly say that there is nothing for BJP to cheer up about Kejriwal's rise anywhere. Because in the first line, he might look like eating up Congress, but eventually it damages the BJP as well. This is why you remember Gujarat election in the last 2 weeks. Literally, BJP was itself campaigning for the Congress that their fight is with the Congress, not with the not with
Yes,
Kejriwal,
yes, yes.
because
I
they
remember
knew.
that. What do you
Yeah.
what do you think of the proposal from the Aam Aadmi Party to the Congress that you sit out the Delhi election and we'll sit out the elections in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan? I don't think the Congress will be in any mood to do this, going by Ajay Makan's attacks on the Aam Aadmi Party. But this offer, what do you think? Is it intriguing? Is it to be taken seriously?
Not at all seriously. I mean, that's very insulting offer. Actually, I think the way when I say that Congress is asking too much more in UP or Bihar like that, Kejriwal is offering too much less in Delhi and Punjab and like that. It's ridiculous offer. I mean, how can you do politics like that? Probably, if they at all they want to contest together, Congress will have to play the junior role now that Sheila Dikshit ji is no more there. You remember Sheila Dikshit ji on her own. Actually, in 2019, many viewers might not know that in numbers. Congress became a number two party in 2019 Lok Sabha elections when
Yeah.
Sheila Dikshit ji was there and she herself contested. So Aam Aadmi Party was pushed to number three rank in 2019. So it's not that Congress doesn't have traction in Delhi, but after Sheila Dikshit ji, can it hold on to that kind of traction? I doubt. Might be a kind of a 5-2 split to contest or 4-3 at best. Might work for Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress together. But having said that, Barkha, I am very clear. Even if, and I can say with full confidence almost in that way, even if Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party contest together for the Lok Sabha elections, Barkha, I doubt the score line is going to change. Maybe
Yeah.
it will become 6-1, maybe, but not beyond.
The Indian voter is a fascinating entity who's able to vote completely differently in assembly and completely differently in Lok Sabha and Delhi. No better example of that than Delhi. Now,
Then
I want to, before I play out the Prime Minister's comment on opposition unity, I want you to talk a little bit about four significant regional entities who are not part of the BJP camp and they're not part of this opposition camp. And the most important in them, and we can show those pictures now to our viewers, is actually K.C. Rama Rao, because he actually had attempted in the middle to be the leader, to take the role that Nitish Kumar is now taking. Telangana is scheduled for elections. He's staying away. Then, of course, you have Jagan Reddy, who is staying away. I think he'll never forgive what the Congress did to him. Mayawati, for strategic reasons, has lashed out at the opposition meet. And finally, of course, there's Naveen Patnaik, who isn't part of this group either. Do you think there could be other regional leaders who might tilt this way? Or do you think the ones who have chosen to attend the meet in Patna, they're quite clear that their survival needs to be positioned in opposition to the BJP, whatever they may think of the Congress?
Barkha, there is one more smaller party which for personal reasons did not attend the meeting. That is the RLD of Jayan Chaudhary.
Yes.
All right. I mean, all said and done, in politics, the optics matter, and we know every time whatever is said, the personal and professional reasons are not really the same the way
Yes.
they are said. So keep an eye on that. I would like to keep an eye on that as well.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
but KCR is probably facing a very strong anti-incumbency at the moment. Very strong anti-incumbency at the moment. In our last two MOTN polls, his numbers as the chief minister have been consistently among the bottommost chief ministers. They could not change the guard with his son in time. Uh,
But doesn't that mean he should need the support of the Congress actually?
Exactly what I'm thinking, and I might be thinking aloud, but Congress is actually gaining a lot of traction in Telangana at the moment after their victory in Karnataka. So what happens, Barkha, if the Congress graph goes up in Telangana, KCR graph comes down in Telangana, BJP is trying its level best to become the number 2 party, but suppose if it remains number 3. But all in all, in the next, and we have Telangana election right in the next, we are sitting in June, yeah, July, August, September, 3 months, probably 3 to 4 months at best for Telangana elections. What happens, and I'm saying hypothetically because the reason of hypothetical is that numbers might vary, but if there is a hung assembly with KCR as number 1 party, and the KCR is unable to form the government, will he form the government with the Congress, do you think, if Congress becomes the number 2 party? No. Then the third player is of the NDA opening up. So just to ensure that this is precisely the reason that KCR, even after doing all that Bharat hopping tour of meeting different chief ministers, probably 2 or 3 times, we remember his press conference with Nitish Kumar. We were laughing like anything at that point of time. But he went to meet Nitish Kumar all alone. But at the invitation of Nitish Kumar, he refused to go. I
Yes.
mean, doesn't that sound strange?
So you're saying, can I underline what you've just said because it's very important. You're saying despite all of the trading of charges, the vitriolic battle between the BJP and what is now called the BRS, the Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti, you do not rule out the possibility that if the Congress does give the BRS a run for its money in Telangana, then KCR, if need be, there are lots of qualifications we have to put there, could join hands with the BJP to keep the Congress out.
Absolutely. After all, in Meghalaya election, didn't we hear the Sangma party to be told as the most corrupt party in India and later on formed the government with the BJP? Home Minister made the remark in Meghalaya campaign. So, I mean, this all as we now, what we call it, jumla, chunav ka jumla jo hota hai, what they say and what they do after politics. And I am serious about this here.
This is a very
Yeah.
important point that the KCR channel to the BJP could be reopened. I think that is the important point that you're underlining. What did you make of
And
his...
Barkha, one more thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember in 2009 Lok Sabha election, KCR contested independently, in fact, on his own and alliance with in a so-called alliance or whatever, whichever way you say it. But the day Telangana polling was over, next day KCR went and met Mr. Advani and joined the NDA. It was a very, very strange politics that KCR played in 2009. He was not part of the NDA. Between the election results and between the polling, the day Telangana polling got over, KCR the next day met Advani and joined NDA before the election results came out. So KCR is a typical situation and phenomena. We have to read it that way. Biju Janata Dal is going to contest all alone, is going to win all alone. Biju Janata Dal doesn't want to prop up the Congress at any point of time because their vote primarily consists of anti-Congress phenomena right from the Biju Babu days. So I don't think that equation is going anywhere. Andhra Pradesh is typical because be it Jagan Mohan Reddy, be it TDP, we have heard a lot about the recent meeting of Chandrababu Naidu along with the Home Minister Amit Shah, but it's a kind of a state where 25 Lok Sabha seats might go wherever the wind is blowing. No matter who wins in Andhra right now would ally with anybody who is forming with the government at the center. So these players are kind of very uniquely placed, but they are somehow more uniquely placed to help out the BJP rather than the opposition alliance.
Interesting. Just a quick comment on KCR and his courtship of Maharashtra before we play out what the Prime Minister has said on opposition unity. Do you think this rechristening of the BRS, the TRS to BRS, a lot of people in the party were not very convinced of it. KC Ramarao really thought it was his movement. He showed his national ambitions. Do you think he did that too quickly? Or do you think, and one thing we haven't spoken about is what a cash-rich resource-rich party the BRS is, unlike many of the other small regional parties. And maybe KCR had hoped that that would give it some heft, his party some heft in the opposition landscape, but that hasn't quite happened. How do you look at KCR's interest in Maharashtra?
I think KCR is, I mean, somebody needs to call the bluff on that. KCR is only positioning for his Telangana assembly elections. You know, वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं तोप मांगो तो बंदूक मिल जाएगी वाले अंदाज में. So what he is only trying to do is to tell the people of Telangana that, see, I am a prime ministerial material. He is trying to invoke the Telugu Bidda sentiment, which used to work with, you know, we remember at the Narasimha Rao's time, we used to use this term a lot. So he is trying to work out on the Telangana Bidda emotion, that if I will project myself as the prime ministerial candidate, Telangana people will take pride in me. And if they take pride in me, at least in assembly election, they will certainly vote for me. So this is nothing. Telangana chief ministers, all the attempts are nothing but to win Telangana assembly election. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
What happens in a scenario if Telangana, hypothetically, is not won by the BRS? What happens then?
Then, unless the number 2 party, which from all the qualitative means and some of the numbers that I am getting, probably is going to be the Congress now, no more the BJP. You know, after Karnataka, the BJP as the number 2 position in Telangana has kind of slightly slipped as number 3 position in Telangana. Suppose if Congress becomes the number 1 party, but falls short of majority, then what? Then there would be a very distinct possibility of Telangana, now the BRS and the BJP coming together and forming the government. I don't see BRS and Congress coming together. That would be a very unusual thing.
Yeah, and that is why the opposition unity is such a difficult thing to achieve. Now, we have about a couple of minutes left with you. Let me just quickly play out the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister in poll-bound Madhya Pradesh talking about opposition unity. Listen in.
कुछ दिन पहले इनकी एक फोटो ऑप कार्यक्रम हुआ था, मिलकर के फोटो निकालने का एक कार्यक्रम हुआ था. इस बैठक में शामिल दलों के इतिहास को देखेंगे तो पता चलेगा कि वो सब मिलकर के, जितने भी लोग वो फोटो में दिखते हैं ना, एक एक को जरा देख लीजिए, उन सबका मिलकर के टोटल लगाएंगे तो ये सारे मिलकर के कम से कम 20 लाख करोड़ के घोटाले की गारंटी है. और कांग्रेस का घोटाला ही अकेले लाखों करोड़ों का है.
Now, while the opposition would like the Lok Sabha elections to be an aggregate of state elections, the Prime Minister says this coming together is an aggregate and averaging of corruption allegations. This has been something that he has, Yashwant, also done before in his swipes at the opposition. But he's acknowledged the attempts here at opposition unity, Yashwant. He hasn't ignored it. He's trying to, in fact, convert it into to his advantage. Yashwant, how did you see the Prime Minister's remarks? Can we unmute Yashwant? Okay, let's listen while we have Yashwant back on with us. The other statement that the Prime Minister made, where he attacked what he called the parivarvad of all of these opposition parties. Listen.
आपको गांधी परिवार के बेटे बेटी का विकास करना हो तो फिर कांग्रेस को वोट दीजिए. आपको मुलायम सिंह जी के बेटे का भला करना है तो फिर समाजवादी पार्टी को वोट दीजिए. अगर आप लालू परिवार के बेटे बेटियों को उनका भला करना चाहते हो तो आरजेडी को वोट दीजिए. आपको शरद पवार जी की बेटी का भला करना हो तो आप एनसीपी को वोट दीजिए. आपको अब्दुल्ला परिवार के बेटे का भला करना हो तो आप नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को वोट दीजिए। आपको करुणानिधि जी के बेटे बेटियों पोते पोतियों का भला करना हो तो डीएमके को वोट दीजिए। आपको के चंद्रशेखर राव की बेटी का भला करना हो तो आप बीआरएस को वोट दीजिए। लेकिन मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनिएगा। मेरे देशवासियों, मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनिएगा। अगर आपको अपने बेटे का, अपनी बेटी का, अपने पोते का, अपनी पोती का, अपने नाते का, अपनी नाती का, अगर आपको अपने परिवार के बच्चों का भला करना है तो आप वोट भाजपा को दीजिए।
Yashwant, you're back with us. Two-pronged attack by the Prime Minister, nepotism and corruption. But I was saying he's not ignored it. He could have ignored it. He's actually using the phenomena of this attempted unity and working it into his campaign. How do you see the Prime Minister's comments?
I think the best thing about how the Prime Minister or his party colleagues do their politics is that they are serious about it. They don't take anything lightly. I mean, any possibility of ignoring or not taking anybody seriously, or, they go about it 24/7, and that's probably their biggest strength at this point is. Barkha, while dealing with what Prime Minister said, and they are going to probably look into the sentiment or tap into the sentiment that actually post 96, between 96 and 99, that United Front government experiment, I think that has taken this so-called Bhanmati ka kunba joda wala jo alliance thing hai, as a very, very negative sentiment. People in India do not really want to vote for instability. They largely in the assembly level. When was the last time we saw any hung assembly, Barkha? Even the hung assemblies which we had to deal with was Maharashtra, when all four went together, and it still was clear in terms of number. Or Jammu Kashmir, where the Kashmir and Jammu regions itself are two different things to vote from the voting equation. So people are not voting for any hung parliament or hung assembly anymore. I think BJP and the Prime Minister are trying to tap in that emotion that these are the smaller people.
In other words, picking up from what you said, the opposition needs a leader.
Absolutely. They do need a leader. And that leader cannot be Nitish Kumar, Barkha. I am very clear on that.
Can I show you a poster where you just said that? Just 1 second. You like this poster. Can we bring up the poster? You see the size of Nitish Kumar in this poster. He said, "Dalo ki nahi, Bhartiya Dilo ka Mahagathbandhan." Great line. Chalo, अच्छी line है. लेकिन आप नीतीश की size देखिए और बाकी लीडर्स की साइज देखिए तो आपको नीतीश की जो प्राइम मिनिस्टरियल थोड़ी सी एस्पिरेशंस हैं वो नजर आ रही हैं इनमें, इस पोस्टर में। यशवंत,
नहीं, थोड़ी नहीं, बहुत ज्यादा एस्पिरेशंस है। एस्पिरेशन हर किसी में होनी भी चाहिए, बट प्योरली फ्रॉम द नंबर्स और द परसेप्शन मैपिंग, बर्फा, what are the chances of Nitish Kumar, the prime ministerial candidate, going around entire India and saying what? Telling the Mumbai voters, मुझे वोट दो, मैं मुंबई को पटना बनाऊंगा, और telling a Hyderabad voter, मुझे वोट दो, मैं तेलंगाना को बिहार बनाऊंगा. What are the chances? Success stories do sell, and on a even more serious note, Barkha, I genuinely believe Nitish Kumar by leaving the RJD first when he won the mandate with RJD, and then leaving BJP when he won the mandate with the BJP. Twice he has insulted the mandate for personal reasons, for his personal gains. I think these flip-flops have taken the brand equity of Nitish Kumar probably, and you have given me a brilliant idea actually in this conversation. I might even put up a question. That's the way I ask about between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi. I might ask my team to ask a question between Nitish Kumar and Narendra Modi, and my gut feeling is Nitish Kumar is probably going to score lower than Rahul Gandhi, because in the national numbers of the verbatim numbers of whom do we want to pick up as the prime minister, Rahul Gandhi is still getting 17-18%. Nitish Kumar is not even getting 2% all India.
Yeah,
So I
that'll be
don't
very
think that
interesting
leader
too.
can be Nitish Kumar.
Yeah, before we close and we let you go, the Mamta Banerjee formula, this is not official, but this has come out from politicians who attended the meeting, the 450 seat formula, basically arguing that at least in 450 seats, you cannot have a triangular or a quadrangular contest. You actually need a straight head-to-head contest between X entity and the BJP, right? Is this possible? Is this realistic?
This is realistic, and Mamata Banerjee is probably speaking, understanding fully where the problem she is facing in West Bengal right now. You know, she knows very well that the incumbency is growing up, the anger against her government is going up, and if left and the Congress start contesting together, even if they poll say 15% plus vote seriously, even if they chip away 10% of the minority votes, Mamata's calculation will go for a toss in West Bengal. So it actually for Mamata Banerjee, it makes full sense. She doesn't want left in the Congress to kind of contest all 42 seats on their own, and which can bring her vote share down and invariably help the BJP. But that can possibly happen when they are in complete sync, just like the formula that we were telling about, we are discussing about in Uttar Pradesh. Left, Congress and Mamata in complete sync, where they actually contest seats which are in due proportion to their actual ground strength. What is the actual ground strength? That is something which I believe left and the Congress are not going to be. Do you think left will be accepting 4 or 5 seats in West Bengal? This is the state which they ruled for 30 years. That's the problem. But as far as Mamata is considered, she is saying it because she understands that in her own home state, the odds are stacking against her, and that stacking is going bigger and bigger every given day. Now in the Panchayat election, we are very near to the Panchayat election in Zilla Panchayat election in West Bengal. For the first time, the number of uncontested candidates has dropped drastically, Barkha. Last 5 years back, Trinamool Congress almost won 25% of the seats uncontested. That number has got down to only 10%. Even that 10% is a blot on democracy from any practical perception. But Mamata's test is very much in these Panchayat elections, and you will understand very well why left and the Congress are contesting full steam in this Panchayat, because the more votes that they poll, they will have a better chance of negotiation, Mamata, if there is any chance at all.
All right, quickly, the same question I asked you, but in a little more sort of sharper way. Is there anything apart from the anti-incumbency against individual MPs that the BJP needs to worry about when it looks at the opposition, which is also understood that this is about their survival? Is there any one thing that, if you were, let's say, talking to a friend in the BJP, you would say?
I think BJP is getting carried away too much with the polarization phenomena. They are overhyping or overestimating the impact that the polarization can actually deliver it to them. Be it 14, be it 19, majority of the voters which voted for Modi and BJP, they voted on the developmental plan, developmental phenomena. And by overriding or overarching or overhyping the polarization thing, I think they are undermining their own work. Somehow, I totally get this, that BJP is unlikely to think it that way, probably. I mean, because the way their leaders speak, the way they do their campaign, I still feel they are going to continue with that kind of polarizing campaign. But more and more they are doing it, I think they are undermining their own performance, their own track record of governance, which, by the way, is kind of appreciated by a huge majority in this country. The kind of development that is happening. Yes, unemployment and inflation are two big things. People want something to be done on unemployment agenda, but huge majority is impressed with the development, infrastructural development that is taking around. But by focusing overhyping the polarization thing, I think BJP might end up undermining their own strength on the impact of governance.
Very important and interesting point, and one I would personally actually agree with. And let's see what sort of campaign we see developing. We're well and truly here in election season. I know Yashwant, the C Voter Survey, has a very interesting opinion poll out, the first significant poll on Madhya Pradesh, and we hope to have you back tomorrow with us to look at those numbers. Thank you so much for talking to us. Always learn a lot. Thank you and take care. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.